Okay, so this is a really great question from Lindsay Smith, who is a third-year COO Alliance member from COO Alliance. She asked about how do you identify candidates who are great to be COOs if they're an internal candidate, or is it better to go with an external candidate? So, this is a good question. There's lots of layers to this. First one is that if you have somebody inside of your company who is kind of that MVP, that most valuable player, the person you're trying to handcuff to the company, yes, you often are trying to find a role for them to keep them in the company, but you don't want to promote them to a different title unless they actually have the skills set to actually run that title and do everything that's on the scorecard for that title. So before you decide whether it's going to be an internal or an external candidate, the first thing you need to do is write down the roles and responsibilities and the metrics by which that role is going to actually be measured. So let's say it's going to be a COO that you're looking for. You are going to decide if it's an internal or external candidate. It's the same job description, the same scorecard, the same roles and responsibilities. And then you need to look at what I call is it better to have a double you know than a double you don't, right? Because everybody that you have in that role, there's going to be problems. There's always going to be good and bad with each person that you have. So the key is to now analyze any of the internal candidates that you have first against that scorecard, against that job posting, against the roles and responsibilities, against the clear metrics that they're going to be measured on in terms of their success. Based on what you see, you can decide if you have someone internal who is good enough to do that. Usually in the COO role, it's because they're great at leading and managing teams. They're great at leading and growing people. They're great at building consensus. They're great at fostering good, healthy debate. They're good at managing conflict. They're good at managing projects and time management. The nice thing about a COO is the only thing they have to be great at is all of those things. Whereas if you're the head of marketing or the head of finance and you're moving into a different role, you tend to have to be much better in finance than everybody else in finance. In this case, you just have to be better at the people side of the business. So great leaders can rise to the top of an organization internally. Now, I find that it's great to do that and promote an internal person if you have a lot of really good, industry IP that is important. Let's say that you have some deep domain expertise that a COO would need, or you may be a very technically specific kind of a business, and that COO, if they have that technical, could be really strong. Because when you're hiring from the outside world, you're then having to bring somebody in over top of people that are already in the company, which is tough. You're having to bring somebody in to a role that other people internally are looking for, and now you have those politics to work through. You have to bring somebody from the outside who is trying to learn the industry and learn the organization and learn the people, but an internal person might already know that. And then it's also tough to sometimes find people that have the industry experience because you're having to poach them from a competitor. So that's my starting point. Those are my decision points. It's all based on roles and responsibilities, what the person's actually going to be, measured on, and then really their ability to lead and manage people and all the soft skills of leadership. By the way, those are all the skills that I covered in my Invest in Your Leaders course, but anybody being promoted to a COO or you're hiring for COO should already have those skills nailed.
If you liked that video, you're going to love more here at watchcameron.com.